Time is never found again. Or is it? By blahblahblah1703, Chapter 13. The Gauntlet. This is one of our group training exercises, designed to test our speed, agility, and smarts. It consists of moving platforms that shake, tilt, oscillate, bob, seesaw, and spin. In between platforms are some of the trainers with foam bats. They move around and swing batons at you, from the side, the front, or behind. It doesn't matter. All the while you try to get through the course that has also tunnels, jumps, and stairs. It is absolutely just as terrifying as the second time, as it was the first. This had been one of our last group training exercises, so seeing it today really threw me for a moment. We line up in order of district, putting Peter and I last, though I am going before him. Marvel gets through it with only a couple of hits because of his long legs and arms make it difficult for him to balance, find his centre of gravity, and keep it. Glimmer gets through it pretty well. She is slightly slower, but only gets hit twice from the foam bats. Clove speeds through it, avoiding all but one of the trainers. She is much faster than Glimmer, and squeaks through due to her small size and good balance. Kato has some of the fastest reaction speeds of anyone I have ever seen. He almost anticipates where the trainers are coming from and ducks without even looking, which is impressive. However, he also gets it wrong sometimes, ducking and diving without reason because he thinks something is happening and it isn't, which slows him down. Not to mention the one time he did get hit, his temper fled and I swear he was about to break the trainer's neck. Everyone else is pretty average, decently fast for District 4 tributes, as well as District 7 and the girl from District 10. Rue also did very well. Everyone else either failed miserably, like both of them from District 3 and both from District 5, as well as the boy from 10, all got through it with difficulty. Thresh was interesting though. He got pounded, but it barely moved him off course. He finished fast, but took each of the bats, not even attempting to dodge them, which was both impressive and stupid. Then it was my turn. I had paid attention to where the trainers were likely to show up during everybody else's turns. So I booked it. It was like I was flying. Honestly, I really did feel like a mockingjay. I was sure-footed and quick, my small size helping me keep light on my feet and my hunter's senses kicking in. I could either spot the bat swinging early enough that I had to react, or I heard the whoosh sound it made and acted accordingly. I was definitely the fastest time so far, and I didn't get hit once. All of the outlying districts were looking at me with disbelief, but the careers were looking at me with contempt. They do not like that I showed them up. Oops. I had to do well though. The game makers watching training days, and every single one of them was watching this exercise intently. I couldn't be mad, otherwise it would have affected my score. I intend to get another 11 because that helped so much with sponsors last time. Peter's up now, and I can see him beaming at me from across the course, his dimpled cheek broadcasting his unparalleled sunshine through the whole room. Peter does almost as well. He's quick on his feet, although he is hit with one of the bats, but then he does something no one else did. He grabs it from the trainer, literally ripping it out of the man's hand, and continues on. He blocked 2 other bats with it before he reached the end, but I knew he could have dodged them. He just wanted to show off and likely get the heat off of my performance. Even the careers, and Kato specifically, have visible surprise and anger across their faces. I chance a quick glance at the game makers walking above, and find them even talking among themselves, obviously about Peter, if the looks they give him are any indication, or staring at Peter in surprise, exactly the same as the other tributes. Peter comes straight to me after his run with a guilty smile. He knew exactly what he was doing. I just laugh at him, shaking my head, and he presents me the baton like it was a prize he had won and decided to give to me. I take it with a smile, and then we turn to find Attilo give us our next instruction. Every other tribute just stares at us, though the careers have made a huddle and are obviously talking about what just happened. The trainers quickly get their act together, and I hand the man back his baton as he walks by. He takes it gingerly, careful not to make any sudden movements, though it's not like I was going to hit him with it. I am highly positive it is against the rules, and I don't just injure things or people for no reason, so I wouldn't have done it anyway. Once everyone gets their bearings, we have 2 hours left going back through the other stations. Peter and I hit up the fish hook making station and the hammock weaving station. While I go to the shelter making, Peter parks at the camouflage station and stays there for the rest of the time, waiting for me to join him. He once again paints his arms into a tree, and then takes mine and makes a flower field. My entire arm is covered with primroses and Katniss flowers. I almost kiss him for it, before I remember where we are. So instead I praise him in front of the instructor at the station, making sure she knows what the flowers are and what they stand for. I can see her eyes widen when I mention it, and she looks between us with an indulgent smile, even if, after a second, it drops into a sad one. Eventually our time comes to a close, and we make our way back up to the penthouse. Effie, Hamish, Cinna and Portia are all waiting for us when we get out of the elevator. They look shocked at the state of our arms. "Who the hell did that?" Hamish gestured to them. "Peter did," I say. Everyone looks at him in surprise. He just shrugged. "I decorated the cakes back home, and I like to draw," he says, like his talent isn't awe-inspiring. Cinna raises his eyebrow. "That is mighty impressive for someone who has never done camouflage before. Are those—" He cuts himself off as he picks up my arm gently, turning it this way and that. "Primroses," I answer his unfinished question, causing everyone to look at me with sympathy. "Don't forget the Katniss flowers," Peter interjected, pointing to one of the white buds. Effie clapped her hands lightly, her eyes welling up. "Oh, you sweet, sweet boy. This is beautiful work," she says. Portia has tears streaming down her face, but she has a broad, almost motherly smile full of pride aimed at the boy beside me. Peter flushes at the attention and mumbles an excuse about a shower as he walks away. He never was good with compliments, especially from Portia or Effie. I think he has always compared them to his mother. Whether it was consciously or unconsciously, I don't know. But I know he did it anyway. Everyone looks at me once he rounds the corner. I need one too. We can talk about training when I come out. I turned my statement into a question at the last second, looking at Hamish for an answer. He nods and gestures me away. I run to my room, throwing a quick look at Peter's door as I pass it, but I decide to let him have a moment to himself. I sit in the hot shower and use my usual settings to wash off. The wind bath mat thing and the electric box dry me and fix my hair for me almost immediately. I slip into comfortable clothes. I chose a burnt orange jumpsuit and a white long-sleeve shirt. I braid the top half of my hair into an intricate crown, but leave the rest of it hanging down my back in waves. I put on minimal jewellery, a watch, a simple necklace and a few rings. Of course I also clip on my Mockingjay pin. I slip my feet into white socks and decide to forego shoes. Why would I need to leave the apartment? So what's the point? I open the door and hear laughter and talking in the sitting room. I follow the sound to find everyone, including Peter and Lavinia, eating snacks and drinking drinks, though Lavinia is obviously not eating and is instead just standing at the side, waiting for orders. I catch her gaze and give her another apologetic smile as I gesture towards Peter's plate. She gives me a quick nod and moves out of the room with a quiet tread. I park myself on the couch beside Peter and lift my feet so that they are under me. Peter slings a comfortable arm across the back of the couch, and I lean into him slightly. Not so much that we are cuddling, but we are obviously sitting together. He offers me a carrot with a light brown spread on it, hummus, and I quickly crunch down on half of it, and he dips it again in the spread before he finishes it. I notice the laughter has stopped, and I see everyone looking at us. Hamish looks with barely concealed amusement and slight disgust. Portia has an indulgent smile that has a slightly sad undertone. Cinna with a smile and a raised eyebrow, aimed at me once he saw me looking at him. Effie is looking at us with so much curiosity and an almost tangible need to know, though I know Hamish would have told her not to. I just roll my eyes and look at Hamish. "So, training?" I ask. He nods at me, taking a sip of his drink, before he puts it down on the table beside his chair. "Tell me everything." So we do. Everything about the careers, what our weapons of choices were, how strong they looked and demonstrated, what seemed like their plan was, whether District 4 was in the Alliance, who were close and who weren't, what their personalities were, etc., etc. We tell him every little thing. We mentioned a little bit about each other's tributes, but we know more than what we said. We told him of District 8's poison knowledge and District 10's ability and their practice with killing animals. We go on about Rue's ability in the trees and ropes, but her disadvantage on the ground. I also mention her knowledge of plants and her skill with a slingshot, a deadly weapon if the skin is broken and the projectile is poison-coated. That causes everyone to look at me with varying levels of surprise. What? You have to think of all the possibilities. This is life or death, and even if Rue doesn't seem like the type to do that, someone else might, and you have to be prepared. I defend myself. They just continue looking at me weird, so I switch the topic to Thresh. His size and ability, but also his tendency to take hits and not avoid anything. Whether that was just because he knew the bats wouldn't mortally wound him is to be determined. Either way, it says a lot. He is also likely to know what exactly the plants were edible, whether that be grain or berries or whatever. We mention a few tidbits that we saw during group training, such as everyone's speed and agility level, and everything else we picked up on different stations. Hamish isn't taking notes, but you can tell his brain is whirling a mile a minute. He's obviously thinking about everything we've told him, and how that could possibly affect us, whether that be through actual threats or threats to sponsors or anything else. We answer a few more questions the team has for us before dinner is announced by a server. Peter and I eat a lot at dinner, knowing we used a lot of calories today during training. We each had a nice meal of steaks with a green sauce on the top. Then we have purple baked potatoes with multiple toppings on top. We also have a side of vegetables, mushrooms, onions, asparagus, and some kind of white broccoli. Eventually, after a very long day of training and questions and strategy meetings with everybody, Peter and I are finally told to get lost so that we can finalise everything with our plans. So, we head to the roof. Peter stops by his room to get a jacket and a blanket and a pillow, and I do the same. I come out as well with 2 hot chocolates I ordered from the microphone stationed in our rooms, and he comes out with a platter of chocolate-covered strawberries and a warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies. We laugh at our similar ideas, and I carry the food and drinks tray, while he struggles with an armload of pillows and blankets. He ends up making a comfy space to lie down with the fluffiest blanket, and we sit down on the pillows with a lighter blanket over the 2 of us. We talk in quiet voices about the day and the games. Not anything incriminating because of the bugs hidden up there. But we both read between the lines, or leave things unsaid but implied. As we talk our way through the cookies and berries, the cookies obviously have extra protein in them, but the chalky taste is easily covered by the warm chocolate, so I can barely even taste it. I only do when Peter points it out to me. The strawberries are sweet and fresh, the chocolate coating them giving them an extra layer that I greatly appreciate. Our hot chocolates with a scoop of protein in them, but are still delicious, wash everything down nicely and warm me through my stomach. I feel better than I have in days by the time we finish our conversation and our snack. I then decide to lay down, and Peter follows my lead. My head finds the crook of his shoulder, and I tangle our legs together. We lay there and breathe in together in the mostly quiet air. The distant sounds of the capital, a city that never sleeps, and the sound of wind whipping over us, with the wind chimes tinkling over in the corner by the flower garden, are the only sounds to be heard other than Peter's heartbeat and our combined breathing. The mostly fresh but slightly artificial smelling air is a comfort on a night like this, when the day had been so hectic and full. Just us together under the moon. Our view of the stars is obstructed by the pollution in the air, but the sky is still beautiful, full and expansive. Peter leans over to kiss my head, letting out a sigh of contentment that makes my heart rate slow down. Every time I heard girls at school describe all their crushes or their boyfriends or whatever, they had always mentioned how their boy gave them butterflies, how he made their hearts race. Peter does none of that for me, and that honestly might be a factor as to why it took so long for me to accept my feelings for him. Peter makes my heart slow down, makes my muscles unclench, makes the blood in my veins thaw from their frozen state, or cool from the fire coursing through them. He makes me feel safe. He makes me feel accepted. He makes me feel loved, not nervous or tense or hypervigilant. My body, now at peace, knowing Peter is here with me, cannot fight the comfort I feel. I am drifting off, and the only thing I can think to do before I fall asleep is mumble to Peter, "Stay with me?" And I hear him reply, "Always." End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I like the obstacle course and how quick they are with it. That's fun. But also, they basically just have a date night. Oh, these two. They deserve every bit of peace and happiness in the world. And the fact that they're actively seeking it out and making a little pocket for themselves, even in a place like the capital, it's beautiful. And how Katniss describes her love for Peter. I can understand the excitement of heart rate speeding up. But as someone who struggles with anxiety, having someone who loves you so much that you feel that safe with them, that's what I want. That's why Peter is one of my top 3 fictional boyfriends. He is the king of green flags in the Hunger Games verse. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and albino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.